Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my videos. On this video there is lots to negotiate about. So according to Fabrizo Romano, he has said that Manchester United have not yet put a bid in for Sergio Reguilon from Real Madrid. But he says he's been offered to other clubs. Now, we may have to settle for a loan deal for Sergio Reguilon because Real Madrid have not decided if they are going to sell the player. Now, it did recently say that we put around the £27 million bidding for him. That was stemming from the AS, which is a Spanish outlet. But I think Real Madrid do value him in the £20 million range, and it did say he could go for as little as £22 million. But there has been a few clubs that have been interested in him. Now, Sergio Reguilon is a left back. Obviously, he can't get in Real Madrid's team now because obviously Zinedine Zidane prefers Ferland Mendy and Marcelo to Sergio Reguilon. Sergio Reguilon is under contract with Real Madrid until 2023. But he did join Real Madrid's youth setup in 2005. He was in their youth setup, was it, for a good 10 years or so. I think he broke into Real Madrid's senior squad in 2018. He's obviously had a few loan spells, obviously with the Logrones. He was on loan with Sevilla last season. I think he made around 38 appearances in all competitions. He could possibly go out on loan again with Sevilla this season. But he is only the age of 23. I think also Real Madrid mentioned that they want two clauses in the Sergio Reguilon deal. This would be like a 25% sell-on clause with also an option to buy. But he is a cheap solution, and Manchester United are in search for a left-back. We've got two predominant left-backs at the moment, and that's Luke Shaw. Obviously, he's our first choice left-back. I think he's a very, very good left-back. My only element of concern about Luke Shaw, he is injury-prone. Luke Shaw's been at Manchester United around 6 years now. And we've obviously got Brandon Williams. He's our backup left-back. And I think, Brandon Williams is definitely the foreseeable future for Manchester United. So that's the breaking news on him. Now, I want to give you some breaking news on Sergio Romero. Now, according to The Athletic, Chelsea are interested in Sergio Romero. Chelsea are looking for a replacement for Kepa Arrizabalaga. Kepa Arrizabalaga is the most expensive goalkeeper in the world at the moment. Now, I've got to say, in regards to Chelsea, they've done very, very good transfer business. Obviously, they've brought players like Ziyech, Timo Werner, Ben Chilwell, Malang Sarr, Thiago Silva. They've just got Kai Havertz on the board, and I think now Chelsea are also trying to get Declan Rice. So they could be in there with a shout for this season. Chelsea have got a few goalkeepers on their agenda. But Sergio Romero is open to leaving Manchester United, because obviously now Dean Henderson has returned. Sergio Romero is our third choice goalkeeper, and he's not going to want to stay at the club as third choice goalkeeper. Obviously, Sergio Romero's been at Man United around 5 years. Obviously, we got him on the free from San Pandora back in 2015. He also had a loan spell with Monaco, don't forget. He's also a former AZ Alkmaar player, and he did play for Racing Club when he was younger. But he's always been our second choice goalkeeper, Romero, since his arrival. He has just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. He's only made 7 appearances in the Premier League. Obviously, last season, played in all our League Cup games prior to the semi-final. Played in all our FA Cup games prior to the semi-final. And I think he played in all our Europa League games prior to the semi-final. So he missed 3 semi-finals. It does also say from Marca in Argentina that Aston Villa and Manchester United have agreed a fee for Sergio Romero. And it says that Villa will pay an initial £7.1 million. Obviously, we've said that want Jack Grealish as part of a deal of Villa getting Sergio Romero. It also said the other week that we'd offered Diego Dalot. Leeds have also expressed their interest in Romero. Everton, I think, have been interested in him. I think it also mentioned that West Ham have been interested in him. But I think he will leave Manchester United. He really, really will. But Villa is basically seeing Sergio Romero as a replacement for Pepe Reina, basically. So yeah, so that's the news on that. Now, I want to give you some news on Thiago Alcantara from Bayern Munich. I've been talking with you a lot about him recently. Now, Fabrizo Romano, again, he's come out and said that the Thiago Alcantara transfer saga has begun. Obviously, Man United are trying to get him on the board. Also, too, Liverpool are trying to sign him. I heard recently that Barcelona have been interested in him. Don't forget, Thiago Alcantara is a former Barcelona player. Now, yesterday, Thiago Alcantara made a Bayern Munich admission and he spoke on his future. And he refused to comment on a transfer to Man United or Liverpool, and he could actually end up staying at Bayern Munich because he said, Bayern is his home and he is happy. Now, Thiago Alcantara has been a long-serving player at Bayern Munich. He's endured around 7 seasons with them. He scored 31 goals in 235 games in all competitions. He's won a total of 16 major honours with Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich did pay €25 million for him from Barcelona back in 2013. Bayern Munich did reveal their asking price. They've said that they do want around £27 million. Liverpool have been reluctant to meet this. Thiago is available on a 3 next year because that's when his current contract does expire. But I believe there's some trustworthy in this Thiago Alcantara saga because obviously, it's stemming from Fabrizio Romano, and Fabrizio Romano is a very reliable Italian journalist. I think for Liverpool to get Thiago, they've got to offload at least one of their midfielders. He said Liverpool will step up their interest if, Gini Wijnaldum was to leave them in this summer transfer window. Solskjaer recently held talks with Thiago Alcantara in person. Yeah, but we are looking to hijack Liverpool's move for the player. But Liverpool have been emerged as the favourites for a while. Now, Thiago Alcantara is 29 years of age, so he's in his late 20s. Predominantly a box-to-box midfielder. Versatility good, though, because he can also be deployed as an attacking midfielder, and I think he can also be deployed as a holding midfielder. But I probably still expect Thiago to leave in this summer transfer window because obviously Bayern Munich will want to cash in on him. Now, I want to give you some news on Jaden Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. So, I do believe that Jaden Sancho to Manchester United is still a possibility. So, I believe it's still on. Obviously, Jaden Sancho has said that he still expects to complete a transfer at Man United in this summer transfer window. Now, it says, we are planning to put a bid in for him, but we are set to finalise the fees and the salary of Jaden Sancho's agent before we put this bid in. But we are not giving up on Sancho unless he publicly says that he wants to stay at Borussia Dortmund for this season. Borussia Dortmund's valuation is around £108 million. Dortmund have been looking for like £90 million up front. Obviously, we're not determined to meet Borussia Dortmund's valuation. But like I've said throughout the course of this Jaden Sancho transfer saga, it has been Borussia Dortmund's asking price that has been the stumbling block. We're only willing to pay like £60 or £70 million up front. And I think the wage demands also are a stumbling block now. But Jaden Sancho has said quite a few times that he wants to come to Manchester United. He has said this, and I've already outlined the reasons why I want him at the football club. Around 3 or 4 weeks ago, it was looking very, very imminent that Man United were going to be signing Sancho, because obviously Fabrizo Romano had come out and he'd said that negotiations between Man United and Dortmund were at an advanced stage. And he said that Sancho agreed personal terms with Man United, and he said he was set to sign a 5-year contract with the football club. But just after that got reported, he said that talks had broken down. A few weeks ago, it looked like Jaden Sancho at Man United was dead in the water, because obviously Dortmund's sporting director Michael Zorg said that Sancho's staying at Dortmund and the decision is final. Also, their CEO and another one of their directors also said that Sancho is staying at Borussia Dortmund. Don't forget, we missed out on the deadline to sign him. Dortmund said we had until the 10th of August. So obviously we failed to meet that deadline. So obviously Jaden Sancho decided to go out on pre-season. You know. So yeah, definitely Sancho at Man United is still a possibility. So that's the latest on all of the transfer news. As you all know, there's been a hell of a lot of players on Manchester United's agenda. Obviously, we signed Donny van de Beek from Ajax. He's obviously our first signing of this summer transfer window. And he obviously is our 5th permanent signing overall under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Donny van de Beek did play for the Netherlands against Poland yesterday. Obviously, last Monday, Donny van de Beek completed his medical in the Netherlands. Obviously, we've got Donny van de Beek in a deal worth £39 million. We've paid just over £34 million up front, and there's like £4.4 million in add-ons. That's quite cheap, to be fair, and Donny van de Beek has signed a 5-year contract with a football club to keep him at Man United till 2025, and there's also an option of a further year. But I think he will complement Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba fantastically well in our midfield. And I think he's the perfect fit for Man United. Donny van de Beek, as you all know, is wearing the number 34 shirt. That's being confirmed. And he's going to become the 13th Dutch player to represent Manchester United. And I presume that Donny van de Beek will be making his debut in our game against Crystal Palace on the opening day. But a fantastic midfield trio, Van de Beek, Pogba and Bruno Fernandes. But Solskjaer's obviously come out and said that he wants Manchester United to make 3 more signings after Donny van de Beek. Obviously, Dayot Upamecano, he's still on our agenda. Kalidou Koulibaly from Napoli, I still believe that he's on our agenda. You know, obviously Solskjaer's looking to change the culture of the club. He's obviously looking to bring the right players into the football club to get us back to being a competitive elite level football club. Don't forget, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did recently give Ed Woodward transfer advice to sort out some of the mess that Jose Mourinho created at the club, and Solskjaer also promised Ed Woodward that he will not make the same mistake as what Jose Mourinho made. So I like what Solskjaer has been saying. But I do believe that Solskjaer is progressing as Manchester United manager, because he even publicly come out and admitted that Man United have got to spend money in this summer transfer window if we are to compete with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool. You know, like I said, you know, Man United were beginning to lose a lot of patience with the board. We have been very critical of Woodward and the Glazers for several years. You know, these main explanations behind it, because obviously our recruitment policy's been poor for several years. We've also overpaid for players. You know, Woodward's obviously been at the football club since 2012, and the Glazers have been at the football club since 2005. You know, so Woodward's been with us 8 years, and the Glazers have been with us around 15 years. But to be fair now, Solskjaer is getting the backing that he deserves. He really, really is. But Woodward said quite a few times that, you know, he's determined to back Solskjaer in this summer transfer window. And he did assure that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job is safe. And the Glazers said they're determined to back Solskjaer. But Solskjaer's got decisions to make at Manchester United. You know, he's not obviously only got to decide on what players he's going to recommend in. You know, he's also got to decide on what players he's going to get rid of. Solskjaer is going to get rid of more of the deadwood, definitely. I think minimum we could get rid of up to 8 players in this summer transfer window. Like I said, we're looking to get rid of the likes of Jesse Lingard. We're looking to get rid of Andres Pereira. We're also looking to get rid of Chris Smalling, Rojo, Jones. We're also looking to get rid of Diego Dalot. Like I've already said to you, Sergio Romero's open to leaving Man United. Yeah, so we'll definitely get rid of players. I think Solskjaer's got a goalkeeping decision to make. I think he's definitely got to put Dean Henderson as number 1 for this season, because I think now Dean Henderson is reliable enough to become our number 1 goalkeeper. Because Dean Henderson has now got that experience behind him, because he recently endured 2 successful loans with Sheffield United, and he was Sheffield United's player of the season. He's had quite a few other loan spells as well, with Stockport, Grimsby and Shrewsbury. We got Dean Henderson back in 2011 from Carlisle. We got him at the age of 14. So Dean Henderson has been part of the club for several years, but Solskjaer did say a few weeks ago that Dean Henderson is not yet ready to become Man United's number 1 goalkeeper, and he said he wants to stick with David De Gea for at least 1 more season. You know, we had the good news regarding Dean Henderson recently, by the way, because he signed a 5-year contract with Man United. That keeps him at the club till 2025. And obviously there was an option of a further year. So it's a 6-year deal in total, worth around 120 grand a week. I think De Gea now is too much of a liability to remain our number 1. Like I said, De Gea's been a liability in the last couple of years, so I think De Gea's had 7 good years out of the 9 years he's been at Man United, but this season will be his 10th season at the football club. Solskjaer's obviously made his decision on Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire will remain Manchester United captain this season. Obviously, we give Harry Maguire the captaincy, reflecting on Ashley Young's departure back in January. Obviously, Harry Maguire has just recently been given extra time off, reflecting on his court case in Greece and his arrest in Greece. Obviously, last season was Harry Maguire's first season at Manchester United. We got Harry Maguire in a deal worth £80 million last summer. So he's the second most expensive sign at the club, and he is the most expensive centre-half in the world. You know. So yeah, Solskjaer has got decisions to make. And definitely improvements are needed at Manchester United this season. I still think, there's certain players that have got to improve. I think, there's aspects of Harry Maguire's game that have got to improve. Lindelof's obviously got to improve. There's uncertainty over Lindelof's future, but I think he will remain at Man United for this season, definitely. Same thing with Eric Bailly. His future's uncertain. Could remain at Man United for another season at least, but he's got to improve his fitness because he's too injury prone. Bailly's one of our backup centre-halves. Wan-Bissaka, he's got to improve his attacking intent because he lacks that attacking intent, but his defensive contribution's always been very, very good. This season will be Wan-Bissaka's second season at Manchester United. Obviously, last season was his first season at the club. Did well for the vast majority of it. We got Wan-Bissaka in a deal worth £50 million from Crystal Palace last summer, but he's obviously our first choice right back. I think, obviously, De Gea, he's got to get back to his best vein of form because we won't sell De Gea in this summer transfer window. But there again, some Man United fans have said that we should. Luke Shaw, he's really improved under Solskjaer, but again, he's got to improve his fitness because he's too injury prone. I think there's aspects of Rashford's game that's also got to improve. So yeah, I think also too, Solskjaer's got to improve his decision making at the football club because obviously a lot of games last season, Solskjaer was very tactically naive, but his approach to a lot of the big games last season were actually very, very good. So that's imperative that we keep that up. I think there's aspects of our game that have also got to improve. I think we've got to be slightly more clinical in front of goal. Probably we need to be quicker on the flanks. Obviously, if we get Sancho, we will be. I think our football needs to look a bit more expansive, and obviously defensively we need to improve. So this is why it'd be beneficial if we did get a centre half in. But don't get me wrong, I have seen improvements under Solskjaer. Like I said, I think our recruitment's definitely improved under him. Obviously, so far, Solskjaer spent over £200 million at Manchester United. Last summer, he brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. And in January, he brought Bruno Fernandes in, who has definitely made the difference in the team. Don't forget, won Premier League Player of the Month 3 times. And obviously brought Odion Ighalo in on loan. We got Odion Ighalo on deadline. We brought him in as a cover-up to Marcus Rashford. By the way, Ighalo was our top goal scorer in the FA Cup last season, but just after lockdown, we had extended Odion Ighalo's loan until January 2021. There's no obligation to buy, but we've got a decision to make on Ighalo now. We're going to let him go when his loan expires, or we're going to possibly inquire about getting him on a permanent basis. We shall see. And obviously, we've just recently brought Donny van der Beek in. And Solskjaer's also brought a few young players in, which is very, very good. And we've got a lot of good young players coming through at Manchester United. And I'm really, really happy as well, the way that Solskjaer has promoted the youth, especially last season. I've got to credit Solskjaer as well, because he has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended into Manchester United. We've seen a lot of players leave since he came in. We've seen the likes of Sanchez leave. Don't forget, recently, like he updated you, Sanchez said he wanted to leave Manchester United to return to Arsenal after his first training session. He said this to his agent. Sanchez did endure a difficult 18 months at Manchester United. But anyways, at Inter Milan now permanently. We let him go on a free, didn't we? Obviously, Lukaku left us. He went to Inter Milan. Ashley Young, he left us in January. He also went to Inter Milan. So Inter Milan got 3 players offers. Obviously, Ander Herrera left. Fellaini left in January 2019. Darmian left last summer. Chris Smalling, Rojo went out on loan, but now they're back. Obviously, Valencia left last summer. Tahith Chong, he also went out on loan. I think we've loaned a few players out, haven't we? Have we loaned Garner and Dylan Levitt out now? I think we have loaned Joe Pereira out for another season. So I'll credit Solskjaer for that. But like I said, this season is the big test for Solskjaer, because obviously, this season is his second full season at the football club. Obviously, last season was his first full season at the club, and I've got to be honest with you, I thought he did quite well. He exceeded most of his expectations, got us qualification for the Champions League. And I did say, didn't I, how important Champions League was for our players, attracting players, and for the financial structure. We also finished 3rd. And you wouldn't have thought we'd have finished 3rd, with how bad we was at the first part of last season. Because at the first part of last season, we endured our worst start ever to a Premier League season. At that point, Solskjaer was under serious pressure, and everyone thought Solskjaer was going to get sacked from the football club. And we also progressed to 3 semi-finals last season. Got to the FA Cup semi-final, got to the Europa League semi-final, and got to the EFL Cup semi-final. But obviously Solskjaer said that semi-finals are not good enough. But Solskjaer knows this season that he's going to have bigger expectations to exceed. I think our expectations this season will be to win a trophy, because we've not yet won out in terms of silverware under Solskjaer, and we've not won a major honour for over 3 years. And I think this is the first time this has happened in over 30 years. The last time we won out was under the Jose Mourinho era, and that was the Europa League and the League Cup in Jose Mourinho's first season. And another one of the expectations will be to mount a title challenge up, because we haven't mounted any title challenge up in the last 7 years. And obviously we haven't won the Premier League since 2013. So the last time we won it was in Alex Ferguson's last season at the club. But we are the most successful team in Premier League history at the moment, because we have won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier League titles. But I'm hopeful that we can win a title under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. I really, really am. But like I said, it is a transition period for Man United, and it has been a transition period for a while. Like I've said to you before, the vast majority of this team is not Solskjaer's. The vast majority of this team is actually Jose Mourinho's, because there's still a lot of players here from the Jose Mourinho era, and Jose Mourinho obviously recommended 11 players into Man United, and Solskjaer's inheriting the vast majority of them. There's still a few players here from the Louis van Gaal era. Still one player here from the Moyes era, and still a few players here from the Alex Ferguson era and that. So Solskjaer, does need time at Manchester United. I think he's just got under 2 years left now on his current contract. Don't forget, it's very imperative that we do have a strong start to this season, because obviously if everything was to go wrong this season, then Solskjaer could be back under pressure again. But we should win our first 2 games. Obviously, first game's Crystal Palace at home, and the second game is Brighton away. But within our first 7 games, we have got Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, and Everton, and they're all gonna be tough games for Manchester United. But we shall see what happens. Not long now until the season starts. But we haven't lost in the league since January. We are unbeaten in our last 14 league games, so that is a positive. Don't forget, we did go on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions until Chelsea had beaten us in the FA Cup semi-final. We have been in our best vein of form, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer first came in as the interim manager. It's very important that we keep our imperative players at the football club. So I think it's very important that we keep Pogba, very important that we keep Rashford. It's very, very important that we keep Martial, because they've improved under Solskjaer. Very important that we keep Shaw, even if we was to get a new left-back in. Probably important that we keep the signings that Solskjaer's made so far. Very important to keep McTominay, I'd say, even though he might find game time very difficult now because we've got a lot of midfielders. Fred, there's been rumours about him also leaving. Some United fans would still keep Fred though. Fred has found game time difficult since the arrival of Bruno Fernandes. I'd probably keep Matic even though he's aging up, because I think definitely Matic has improved as a Man United player. But yeah. But I recently said, didn't I, how Manchester United can win the title under Solskjaer. And I think we've got to make minimum 5 signings in this summer transfer window. I can't see Man United, though, making 5 signings. I think, there's other things we've got to do as well. But it is a long rebuilding process. Very important that we keep players fit. I think for this season, for the Crystal Palace game, we're going to have a fully fit squad. Obviously, towards the end of last season, Luke Shaw sustained an ankle injury. Jones had an injury. Tuanzebe had an injury. Rashford recently sustained an ankle injury. Don't forget, he's out for England's games against Iceland and Denmark. We had a lot of injuries last season. That's why, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer made a lot of rotation in the squad. But it was good that I tried a few different things. Tried a few different formations last season. Went with different lineups. I think now though, Solskjaer obviously knows his strongest team. Obviously he knows his best formation. I think for this season he'll go a lot with that 4-2-3-1 formation. But he went with that formation a lot last season, didn't he? But Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Ferguson era. Obviously, 3 managers have been sacked since Ferguson's retirement, and that was David Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. We have spent nearly £1 billion on players in the last 7 years. And, we've recruited a good 32, 33 players in since the Ferguson era and that. But I just think it's going to be hard for any manager at Manchester United to replicate Ferguson's legacy or, to last as long as Ferguson did. It's going to be hard for any manager to do what Ferguson did, because Ferguson endured 20-odd years at Man United, obviously won a total of 38 major honours. But he didn't settle in straight away, Ferguson, because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club. And we're all hoping, you know, that Solskjaer can follow Ferguson's philosophy, you know. But yeah. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.